Well, the semifinals are done at Cincinnati, and we've gone 2 for 2 on our predictions here at The Slice. Milos Raonic came through like we hoped and thought he would, and Djokovic did come through after playing a very weird match versus Roberto Bautista Agut, his kryptonite on hard courts. So we're going to get into those, take a look at the women's final, and we're going to talk about what Raonic is going to need to do if he wants to beat Djokovic and get over his 10-0 head-to-head record versus him. So let's get into it on The Slice.
So I don't have many bagels.
Welcome to The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
Thanks for being here, folks. Thank you for subscribing and liking the video. That helps us out a lot. I don't know, these last two matches, there was so much to talk about. They kind of played out like I thought they would on the men's side, with Djokovic and Roberto Bautista Agut being very tactical, a lot of long rallies, just like a duel like I thought it would be. But the level increases and decreases, I guess, from mostly Djokovic's side were very interesting. We'll get into that. And then Tsitsipas and Raonic was just an absolute slugfest with some super clean hitting in there. On the women's side, though, Naomi Osaka and Victoria Azarenka have come through, and they're going to be in the finals together. So I'm going to be, Osaka's one of my favorite players. Just the way she's handled herself throughout the last couple of years, beating Serena Williams in the final of the U.S. Open, getting booed, at her first Grand Slam win. It was just absolutely epic, and she's just got the sweetest game, I think, on the women's side. But there is going to be a bit of a controversy or a little maybe awkwardness in the air, because Osaka was the player who took the stand and was the reason for the tennis not happening yesterday. And Azarenka, I've heard on Twitter and through some rumblings from the press, she wasn't exactly too stoked about that. So, awkward alert. We'll see if there's a little extra fire in the final there tomorrow. But I'm expecting Osaka to come through that, because literally Victoria Azarenka hasn't done anything for years on the women's side, but she used to be extremely dangerous. So we'll see what happens there. On the men's side, what happened today? We had Tsitsipas versus Raonic. So that's obviously a super intriguing match if you follow tennis, because Tsitsipas is like the golden boy of tennis. He's long, he's super athletic, good mover. And then we also had Milos Raonic, our guy, friend of the show, playing like out of his mind and looking like the best maybe he's looked since like he made it to the Wimbledon final in 2016, beating Fed in the final, making him, get injured, and then going to have to have surgery or time off, either one. Forget. But they were both looking pretty good coming into this. And then Milos came out, and I said at the beginning it would mostly depend on Milos' serve, and that is pretty much what happened. Milos was ruthless. He won 90% of his first serve points when he got his first serve in. It's kind of to be expected. His first serve is arguably the greatest of all time. I don't know how it's even physically possible to return it, but Tsitsipas, he's big, he's long, and I've watched him return Federer's serve in practice live and at the Australian Open, and if anyone could do it, it's him. So he did a pretty good job, but there was just super clean hitting from both guys on either side, and Milos was just too much today and was just a better player. So he won in 2 sets, and then we had Djokovic and Bautista Agut come out. So that was, if you've been following them, it's, as I said before, Roberto Bautista Agut has won their last 3 meetings on hardcourt. For some reason, he can really get it done against Djokovic on hardcourt. And I think that's because he can make him uncomfortable. Djokovic likes to play perfect, not miss, and make other players uncomfortable by taking away their angles and just making them be in positions they don't want to be in. But that's what Bautista Agut does. So when Djokovic was trying to make him uncomfortable, Bautista Agut just wasn't missing. And Djokovic kind of relies on that sometimes from other players. He wasn't getting any of that today. So Roberto Bautista Agut went up. I'm just going to say RBA from now on. It's too long of a name. Sorry, bro. He went up in the first set, won 6-4 after a pretty close first set. And I was like, eyeballs, what's happening? Are we going to see another victory of RBA over Djokovic? That would be kind of insane, especially he was looking good. Then Djokovic got like a tablet. He had a stomach upset. And, Djokovic fans are going to get pissed. But you always know when Djokovic is having discomfort on the court. He does not hide it at all, which is maybe distracting for RBA. I don't know, because in the second set, Djokovic plays a lot better, which is great. He played more like he normally would, and then he goes up 5-2 in the deciding set, and you're like, oh, this is probably it. Serving for it, most dangerous lead in tennis though, 5-2. Bautista Agut breaks back, and then all of a sudden Djokovic just starts playing terrible tennis for a couple of games there. He's head over, bending down on the side of the court. Looks like he's dying, and then it's 5-5, and then Bautista Agut is serving for it, and I was like literally about to make a video being like, how did Djokovic lose this? Why did this happen? And then he just started playing amazing tennis again, broke Bautista Agut, went to the tiebreak, and didn't lose a point, won 7-0. So Djokovic fans, please explain that to me. Explain the levels up and down. I just don't know. I can't explain it. But when Djokovic is playing his best, he's clearly the best player in this tournament. So we got the final now. Djokovic versus Raonic. Djokovic 10-0 head-to-head versus Raonic. Raonic, if you've been following the slice, appreciate it. We got to sit down with Milos Raonic in Delray Beach and talk to him specifically about why Djokovic is so hard to serve against. We got the best returner of all time, Djokovic, versus arguably the best server of all time, in Raonic. And Raonic's words were linked to the video up here. Click it. You can watch the whole interview. Raonic's words were that Djokovic shrinks the court for him. So usually on the first serves, when Raonic gets him in, Djokovic comes back up the middle deep, which doesn't allow Raonic to capitalize on the next ball, which is obviously what you want to do as a server. So he says going back up the middle takes away the angles, and then he'll wait until Djokovic can get an angle, then he goes on the offensive. And then if you're a big guy like Raonic and you can't move that as well as other guys, you're going to be in trouble. So that's kind of Raonic's idea of why Djokovic has definitely had his number in the past. There is reasons why I think it could be different today. So if Raonic knows that going in, what is he going to do to hopefully have a different outcome? Well, I think he's going to have to change up his serves. I think that's what he would do anyways, is obviously try and get free points on the aces, tee out wide, whatever, but also jam Djokovic on some first serves to be able to, hopefully get some short balls and then come forward. I don't think Milos has ever moved as well as he is right now. So if he was going to make Djokovic uncomfortable and pressure him and force Djokovic to play on Raonic's terms, this would be the match to do it. If Djokovic can step up and have a great returning day and make Raonic uncomfortable, this match will play completely into Djokovic's hands, because that's what he does. That's what he does so well. That's what he's the best in the world at doing. So it's going to be, again, I think this match is basically going to come down to the serve and the return. The good thing, though, is that in this match versus Tsitsipas, when the rallies did get a little longer, Raonic looks way more comfortable than he ever has being in long rallies. Especially, he used to have no backhand, basically. If the ball went to his backhand, it was just not good. But now he can take that thing up the line and do damage with it. We talked about that as well. He said he'd been working on it. He said he'd been working on his fitness, so he'd be able to, run around stuff or sit down on the backhand side and just play, with more endurance. So the fitness work is paying off. He's looking good coming into this final versus Djokovic. I think he has a serious chance to pull off the upset and beat Djokovic. I think if Djokovic finds his level like he eventually did at certain points during the RBA match, he will be very confident in this match. And, unless he's still physically ailed like he was, I guess, in this match today versus RBA, I think Djokovic is the favorite, but it's going to be a good match. And I'm hoping that they'll both play their best, and then we'll just see who comes out on top on Sunday. So I'm looking very forward to that. We're going to be cheering for Raonic here because he's our guy. And if you don't like that I said that, then you're a hater, and you probably are a Djokovic fan, and that's fine. We'll see you in the comments. Let me know your predictions of the final. Djokovic, Raonic, and the U.S. Open, I guess, starts on Monday. It's just totally random schedule of events now. So the U.S. Open starts on Monday. It looks like Medvedev and Thiem are in the bottom half of the draw, and Zverev and Djokovic are in the top half. Super weird to do a major draw without Nadal and Federer there, but it's going to happen, and we'll probably release that on Sunday evening after the final of Cincinnati. So let's see your description or your preview or your predictions below. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you soon.